Hello viewers, Flash Motorsport here and welcome to Yas Marina. I did qualify for this race. I start off in P4 position. Now this is one of those races where if you make a simple mistake, you get dragged away from the pack in front. And this is a prime example of what happens. So as you can see, I'm in P4 position with the car to my right. Decided to try and push in front of that car, but overall it was much quicker than me through that corner and I lost so much speed through this second turn right here. Losing all that time and place I did have, I am now just about on the edge of the toe of the cars in front. Braking a little bit late for this corner here. I am mindful of the cars plowing up behind me. As you see in the mirror, a few did go off. I am still within the toe of the car in front, but it's not enough for me to be brought back into the race with the cars in front. As you can see, CC Murphy in P1 is already 1.5 seconds ahead of me at the moment, and that is quite the lead from just one lap. We're not even completed the lap yet. Coming into these final two corners here, I get a nice little do it quite well to be fair, and I managed to keep within the time frame, if not gain a few little attempts behind them, which is what I really need to try and keep up with them. The only way I'm really going to keep up with these cars in front, and to be fair they are very quick, is as long as I'm within the toe of them, because as soon as I break that toe that they're all creating in front, I pretty much had it, to be fair. Trying to keep up with them and making silly little mistakes like I am now, taking this corner too wide, having to let off to try and keep within the track, as well as a little bit of collision with the Audi behind me, is just absolutely eating my time. I have to say though, I do quite like this track layout the way it is. I think it's quite good. You get a much better long straight down here. I quite enjoy this little bit down here, as well as I don't have to go through that weird chicane bit where I'm always seem to mess it up somehow and cost myself a few attempts here or there. I quite like this track layout, and it's a little bit longer as well. And as you can see, coming down this straight is where you need to be in the toe of the cars in front, because now I am 1.6 seconds away from the cars in front, which is absolutely killing me. It really is. And obviously this Audi's gone up the inside here and pretty much got their way through. I wonder if they're going to get a penalty here. Let's have a look. They do not, oddly enough. I have a car to my right hand side, so I'm going to have to be a bit slower through this first corner here, rubbing that in the curb and left hand side, and I was going to bring it over to the right hand side, but there's a car on my right hand side. Coming through here, you want to go as close to this wall as you can on your left hand side and go over to the right hand side and rub on the inside of this curb, maximize that track width so you can come through here as fast as possible. You see now I'm really getting pulled back here, and I want to try and catch up to the Audi that got through past me, Naughty Dog 1138, and keeping up with the toe of them and being able to get past them, I'll be back in P4 position. They are 0.6 seconds ahead of me. I'm coming down this back straight. I'm going to gain a tenth, maybe 2 tenths on this one. But you're looking on your right hand side and you're looking for the 150 board, and just after the 150 board, between the 100 and 150 is where your next braking point is. Braking down the second gear and rub these two curves on the inside. Bring it over to your left, back over to the right. I was going to rub that in the curb, but as you can see there is an Audi on my right hand side. Luckily enough we got that position back, but in this next corner here we're going to have to take it slower again, looking out for the 100 board on the right hand side, braking down the third gear, rub this curb on your left hand side and up the straight we go. I am going a bit slow to create a bit of an issue with the Audi behind me, to see if I can get them to fight the cars behind rather than fighting me, and I can try and catch up to the cars in front. You see now P1 position is 5 seconds ahead of me. Absolutely painful distance to try and catch up in the next 10 laps. Braking just after the 100 board, down to second gear, rub this in the curb. As soon as you hit this in the curb, start applying the power gently and bring it out to the outside. Coming again down this back straight. You want to try and maximize coming out of that corner to gain a few extra miles per hour coming down this straight here. I think maybe I could have adjusted the gear ratio just a little bit to suit this kind of back straight a little bit more, but I'm near enough in the power band of the car anyway. Down in second gear, rub this left hand curb and then rub it again some more. Bring it back over to the left hand side as much as you can, and then bring it over to the right, rub that curb and it'll bring you to the outside. Could have gone a few miles per hour faster through that, but you can see now I'm creating a gap to the car behind. Looking to your right hand side at the 100 board, braking down to third gear. We want to get as close to that wall on your left hand side as you can, and I totally missed it. coming up here again, get as close to this wall as you can, just like that, just a pixel or two away from it, and come back over this side. You've got so much track limit on this side that you can really abuse it to come down the straight much faster. Looking over to your right hand side, you're looking out for the 100 board just after it, where the curb starts again, down to second gear, and again rub this curb in left hand side and power on out the other side. And as you see now, the Audi that was behind me is no longer behind me. It's some other player, Bizor01, who are 1.2 seconds behind me and a 1.1 second penalty. But I am not massively gaining or bringing any time back to the cars in front. The trio in front are managing to keep their positions, and I've got to be honest, I'm massively struggling to keep up with them. The thing is, they all have the slipstream, they're all working with each other, and it's just basically pulling me apart from them overall. That slipstream they're going to be created together, probably nudging each other down the straight, I'm not too sure, but it's keeping them bunched, and I have no slipstream to work with to basically gain the extra few miles per hour I need to come down these straights. Again, getting as close to this wall on the left hand side as you can, and bring it back over to the right, get it right over that curb, a bit more than I just did there, and come over to the left hand side. Just be mindful of the track limits on the left hand side, but as long as you keep two right hand wheels on the black stuff, you will be fine. Jumping ahead to lap 7, as you can see my tyres are worn on the right hand side, so this lap is the one I'm going to need to pit on. We are still 4.5 seconds away from the car in front and 4.9 seconds away from P1 position. We have managed to gain a 2-second lead to the car behind us, which is massively suitable. So the race is going to be pretty lonely if I keep gaining from the car behind and not gaining on the cars in front. But I've got to say, this pit though is such a long pit. It's so slow. You go into this pit, and I've never pitted on Yas Marina before, so you're going to laugh at me on this one. I couldn't believe how long the pit exit was. I entered the pits clean shaven. I came out the other side with a good old beard like Gandalf the Grey. Now with that in mind though, if there was less laps throughout the whole race, then the hard tyres would have massively benefited here really, because how long does it take to go through the pit and out the other side would really determine whether it's worth going through the pit. So right now we're already at 30 seconds just about, and we've only just coming down through and underneath the tunnel to come out the other side. And you can see it does feel like forever. You're sat here, come on, this car's passing me, come on. I mean, I'm just behind Casper Byrne, and I'm like, please be faster, please be faster. As you can see now, just coming out of the pit line now, we're at 50 seconds before we start accelerating. 50 seconds to pit. Oh, it felt like an eternity. As you can see, CC Murphy is 40 seconds nearly ahead of us. So they obviously must be on hard tyres, or their front tyres are absolutely dead and they just want to kick in one more lap. I'm not too sure. But my gosh, it felt so long. Don't get me wrong, it's cool though, going to a tunnel and everything out the other side. It's cool, but yeah, it did feel like a long time to pit. But we're coming again down this back straight. We're only 4 seconds away from Casper Byrne in front. They're in P13. I'm in P14. It's not a good place to be. In reality, I should have pitted this lap rather than a lap before, but I didn't want to take the risk of the tyres being dead now. I want to try and catch up a bit of time here. Hopefully, going past the pits now, we're going to gain a few positions. There's a few people in there and coming out the other side in front. They may have also been on a different tyre strategy to me overall, because there's quite a few cars that haven't pitted this lap. I know I've been pushing the car quite hard to try and keep up with the time in front, but not that hard that I am pitting far earlier than everybody else. So they're going to have to pit sometime. There's no way you can get through all 14 laps on one set of hard tyres. Partway through lap 13, coming up to our final lap, we'll catch up to Kevin. RX7 is in P4 position. Kevin is on a set of hard tyres from what I believe. I've caught up to him relatively quickly this final few laps, as well as you can see, they're trying to be in the slipstream. But you can see they're on hard tyres, because as we're coming down to this corner here, looking out for the 150 board, braking just after it, I dive to left out the way and they pretty much go off the track. Obviously the tyres are pretty much done for. And it was quite a lucky move that I looked in the rearview mirror to watch what they were doing and made sure I got out of the way. As you see now, to be fair, pitting at lap 7, did benefit to an extent because my tyres aren't on the minor wear marker yet, and I've been a bit more conservative these last few laps due to the fact of I'm not going to catch up to the pole positioners in 1, 2 and 3. You see Casper Byrne is 8.1 seconds ahead, so they did pit overall, and CC Murphy is 5.8 seconds ahead, but I do have a 5-second lead to the cars behind. So I'm in my own little bubble here, which is quite nice unless I mess up on any corners before the end of the race. And to be fair, 5 seconds can be eaten up very quickly. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the position that we are finishing towards the end of the race. To be fair, Casper Byrne, CC Murphy and the player in position 2 are very, very quick drivers. SSS4979, that's the person that was in P2, now they're in P3. Could have picked an easier name for me to say. Oh, sometimes it's not the easiest for my brain to engage and work. As we cross over the start and finish line, we have got a P4 position, and I'm not done there yet because I want to try and win this race. So we head back to Yas Marina. I qualified, got P1, and it's night time and it's foggy, and I couldn't ask for any more than that, to be quite honest, because I know this track now quite well, and I'm hoping the fog would then create some additional chaos, so I keep my position. But I am mindful of the car on my left hand side, diving in, trying to keep it a little bit wide, squeeze them in that corner, but obviously they have backed out behind me, which is really kind of them, and I thought I was going to have a bit of an issue here. Rubbing that near side wall as much as you can, coming back over to the right hand side, over these lines, and power running on down the straight. Looking out on your right hand side for the 100 board, and then you'll see the curb, brake at the curb, just now, down to second gear, bring it in, hit the inner curb on your left hand side, and power on as soon as you touch that curb, and slide it out the other side. Coming down this back straight, I am out of the tow, and the cars behind, so they're not going to be able to gain on me here. They're going to be fighting each other really, and hopefully I'll be able to get away. Like I say, they're not in my slipstream, so they're not going to be able to gain on my time. I've not got no slipstream, so I'm not going to be able to get away from them if they're traveling at the same speed as me. But what they are going to be doing is fighting each other with each other's slipstream, thus me being able to get away from them because they're fighting and having to take sacrifices in corners. Coming over the start and finish line, we are 0.9 seconds away from the cars behind, and in reality gaining a little bit. Coming over this curb to the right hand side and powering on. Be careful on this right hand side curb, you can upset the tail end of the car. Bring it as close to this wall as you can, back over to the right, brush over this curb as much as you can. Be mindful, so you don't go into the grass. Come back out the other side and back down this straight here. Looking for the 100 mark on the right hand side, braking at the curb, down to second gear. Take it nice and deep, looking about 50 miles an hour through here, and accelerating out the other side. Now I'm 1.1 second, 1.2 seconds away from the car behind. So I gained 3 tenths in that one corner alone, and that is the kind of distance you need to create each time around. And if I'm consistent and manage to keep this pace up, hopefully I'll have such a good lead that I'll be winning this race overall. This does include not messing up or getting yourself a time penalty. Time penalties are quite easily had on this track. I'll go over into this line and I reckon I was within a pixel of not getting a penalty on that one, because W111 does get a penalty behind me. So that's just to be mindful. Looking out for the 100 board on the right hand side, down to third gear, bring it over to the left hand side, use the curb to bring you around and come over to the right. Like I say, I try and avoid that right hand curb, it's a bit dicey. Come over to your left, I should have gone much closer to that wall, and it does impact my time coming through here. Bringing it out the other side, rubbing those curbs and coming back to the right hand side again, looking out for this 100 board, braking just after it and back down a second gear, looking about 50 miles an hour through this corner and accelerating out the other side. As you can see now, I'm 1.1 second away from the car behind. I could have gone a little bit quicker through there possibly, because they gained 2 tenths on me there, but coming down the straight they are not really gaining, and I'm not within the slipstream, or they're not within the slipstream of me, and that's what matters the most. Braking just after the 150 board, down to second gear, rubbing these 2 curves. You can see I'm not too sure what W111 was trying to accomplish there, unless they got into a bit of slipstream, but it felt like, or it looked like they was going to go for my back end. Either way, doesn't matter, I survived, and I've also gained another 0.2 seconds on them. 1.4, 1.5 seconds away from me there, But I did go through this corner a little bit too slow, coming over to the left hand side, wanting to get closer to that wall, and back over to the right and maximising the use of the track. Powering on through out the other side, and that was a good run right there. 1.6 seconds away from the one behind. Looking at the 100 board, braking down in second gear, bringing it in, dabble the brakes a little bit more, trying to get that nose down and reduce the understeer, and coming out the other side. Nearly, there we are, 2 seconds ahead of the car behind, and that's the time I'm quite comfortable with, to be quite honest. Jumping ahead to the start of lap 13, we have gone through the pits out the other side, had another shave, and managed to gain a bit more time. Unleashed Force has overtaken W111, and also W111 has more penalties. They are now at 2.2 seconds in total, while Unleashed Force is at 0.3. I mean, the 6.3 second lead is quite the lead, and surprisingly nobody was on the hard tyre scenario, because as I exit the pits I was still in front of everybody else. So I did pit at the end of lap 7, and everybody else basically followed me through. As you can probably tell, I also managed to give myself a penalty because I didn't want to be the one left out. It obviously was not purposely done, but I managed to get myself a 0.9 second penalty. I did go off the track a little bit as I came out the third corner, coming around over the curb, so I went a little bit wide, and thus giving me my nice healthy penalty, because I am also flat out and I don't want to let off the throttle and lose time overall. I think reality, that penalty was about the same as letting off the throttle and letting the cars catch up behind. This is why I say sometimes it's quite nice to have that large gap buffer from the cars behind you, because my penalty isn't really going to affect my overall race. I'll be absolutely steaming if that Unleashed Force was right up behind me with their 0.3 second penalty, because I'll need 0.6 seconds to be able to win the race. So I'm in a pretty comfortable position. Braking down to second gear, my tyres are starting to wear now. That's okay, we've only got a few corners left to go. Sliding it out to the other side. I'm not too fussed if I scrub the tyres a little bit now. I'm just going to accelerate and have a little bit of fun. Smoke them up a little bit. As we come down this back straight, Unleashed Force is 6.5 seconds away from me, so it looks like we're going to win this race. Overall, I do prefer this track layout to the usual one they have on a touring car series. I like the fact they don't have that silly little bit in the middle that everybody seems to pile up on, and it does seem to be a much cleaner overall race for everybody involved. But thank you all for watching, and I shall see you all next time. Goodbye.